All right, today we're diving into something that I think is absolutely fascinating. It's this huge psychological split between people who succeed quietly and those who, well, seem to fail really, really loudly.
So let me just ask you this right off the bat. Have you ever just looked around and noticed something kind of weird about how people chase success?
Because you see this strange paradox play out all the time, right? On one side, you've got the people who are always talking, always announcing their next big move, their grand plans, how they're going to change the world. And then, on the other side, you have the quiet ones, the people who are just heads down, almost invisible, and then one day you look up and they've built something truly amazing. So what's the psychology behind this?
Okay, so let's get right into our first big idea here: action over announcement. This is really the first major fork in the road where these two types of people go in completely different directions.
It all really boils down to energy. Think about your focus and your willpower as like a battery with a limited charge. Psychologists sometimes call this ego depletion. Now, the quiet achievers, they pour every ounce of that battery into the actual work, practicing, learning, improving their skills. But the loud performers, they drain that same battery on something else entirely, trying to get validation and applause for things they haven't even done yet.
And you can see this difference in the way they communicate, too. It's fascinating. For the quiet achiever, conversation is a tool for learning. They listen, they absorb, they ask questions. For the loud performer, conversation is, well, it's a performance. It's all about looking smart, sounding confident, and managing how people see them, even if there's not much substance behind the words.
And this quote right here just gets to the absolute heart of it. It's such a simple psychological truth, but it's so powerful. You can't actually learn anything new while you're talking. Speaking is all about output. It's sharing what you already think you know. Listening, that's pure input. It's how you gather new data, find your blind spots, and actually get smart.
Which brings us to this monster of a psychological concept: delayed gratification. This is basically the quiet achiever's superpower. You've probably heard of the famous Stanford marshmallow experiment, right? The kids who could wait for the second marshmallow tended to do better in life. It's that exact same principle, resisting the easy, immediate reward of praise and attention for the much bigger, more meaningful reward that comes from real, long-term work.
All right, let's move on to our next section, because this is where things get really interesting. We're talking discipline over drama. This is all about the internal world. What's going on inside their heads?
So what happens when things inevitably go wrong? Because let's be honest, they always do. The quiet achiever has practiced emotional regulation. They have a built-in pause button. They stop, they think, and they try to stay calm. The loud performer, on the other hand, often gets sucked into a vortex of drama. They argue, they complain, they lash out impulsively. And all that emotional chaos just destroys any hope of making steady progress.
You know, this reveals a truth about success that most people don't like to hear. We imagine success is this one big, dramatic, exciting moment. But the real foundation of it all, honestly, it's kind of boring. It's the quiet discipline of a consistent routine. It's showing up and doing the work day in and day out, especially on the days you don't feel like it. That's where real strength is forged.
And this difference in mindset is absolutely everything when it comes to resilience. The quiet achiever just accepts that struggle is part of the deal. They expect it. So when hardship shows up, they're not surprised and they don't quit. The loud performer is often running on external fuel. They're powered by praise, by likes, by attention. And the moment that fuel runs out, which it always does when things get tough, so does their motivation, and they're gone.
Okay, so this brings us to our final and maybe most important section, your quiet power. Because this isn't just about watching other people. It's about how you can actually use these ideas in your own life.
Now here's the wild paradox of all this. By choosing silence, you actually become more powerful. When you're the person who doesn't speak much, your words suddenly have more weight when you do. People listen because they know you've chosen them carefully. This builds a kind of natural, unforced respect. And that silence, it makes people curious. They wonder what you're thinking, what you're working on. And that curiosity, that's the beginning of real influence.
So how can you put this into practice like today? It's a pretty simple 4-step game plan. Step 1, just stop announcing your plans. Resist that urge to talk about what you're going to do. Step 2, find a way to work quietly. Protect your focus like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. Step 3, pick one thing, one skill, and go deep. Try to become a true master of it. And finally, step 4, trust that your results will eventually do all the talking for you.
So I want to leave you with this one final thought, because it really captures the entire idea perfectly. The most important work you'll ever do won't happen on a stage under bright lights. It's going to happen in the quiet, focused hours when nobody's watching. So move in silence, and trust me, when the time is right, your success will make all the noise you could ever want.